Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up, my G.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Yo. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How the heck are you? This is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, back in the saddle again. That is the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, coming at you live, baby, from the Asian Sensation Studios in the greater Washington DC Metropolitan Area. I am so glad that you guys are here. I know it's been a minute. It really has been. A lot of people have been asking, what's been going on? You haven't been putting out a lot of content as of late. Real quick, I have a short answer to that because, I don't want to waste a lot of time. As podcasters, by that, I mean, the small leaguers of podcasters. Obviously we're not big. We're not established. We don't have a lot of income that comes our way. We don't get paid millions of dollars for this. We don't have any corporate sponsorship. So automatically that puts us in a little bit of a disadvantage. So we have day jobs, and I have a day job. And I will say that for the most part, for those that know me on a personal manner, this month has definitely took its toll, where I was literally working nonstop during the week. And, I really felt like, to be honest with you, I feel like a Mack truck hit me every time I was done with work, because there was a lot that was going on. Now that part of it is now eliminated and done with, we closed the chapter on it. Things will be a little bit more better. So I'm really excited once again to be here and to be recording. And this is, what I've been doing and what I've been enjoying myself to do, because it is a part of my creative media. Yes, I am an actor, but I also love doing podcasting. And I remember that my friend and helper of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, Hector, kind of noticed it. He just said, dude, you shouldn't be recording right now. You should be resting. You should be recharging your batteries, because if you actually run yourself to the ground and force yourself to record episodes not at 100%, the quality is going to be terrible, and that's when you're going to be at your worst. And he was exactly right, absolutely right, 100% to the T. Hector, I do appreciate it, my man. That is definitely sound advice, and those were sound words, and I cannot thank you enough. Real quick, before we actually start the show, I want to give some shout outs real quick. As people know, as I said on my last episode, according to Apple Podcasts, we actually, at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, got into the top 100 podcasts, and we ranked number 48 in the Brazilian network, believe it or not, under the category of movies, TV, and entertainment. So that is pretty wild. And we have two people that actually follow it. They're also good friends of mine on TikTok. And I just want to give them a quick shout out and say hello to them, because they have been very supportive. They know what it's like to be a creative artist and a creative mind, to have a creative medium. And I'm going to go ahead and give them their dues. So one of them is actually a graffiti artist and an artist in general. Her name is Natalia, but she goes by the moniker of Sinner. So I want to say, a big hello and a oi to the bam, to her. She's an amazing artist. I love the stuff that she does. Great stuff. It's amazing. So I want to give a hello to her, and to another good friend of mine, Blair, who is an amazing TikTok personality that does her own thing as well. Life of the party. She's very nice, very pleasant, and she's all about positivity and spreading love, and that's awesome. So I want to also give my hello to her and show much love and respect. Anyways, this is a very special episode because this is the 11th episode of season 3. And it's very befitting because on the 11th episode, which we are recording right now as we speak, we are actually doing our 11th episode celebrating 11 years since my boy, Mr. Davey Suicide, that's right, has had his first ever full-length self-titled album. It is quite incredible. And to help me with this, I have a very good friend of mine. We've been friends for almost that long time frame, I think. And, she's also a fan of Davey Suicide. I've brought in as a backup co-host for the evening. My friend Becky Bystrak is in the hizzy. Becky, what's going on?
What's up?
Not a whole lot, just, the same old 6s and 7s. I'm really glad that you were able to come in and join me tonight for this great moment.
I know, I'm so excited. Like I've been following your podcast since you first started it.
Nice.
So and also how with Davey, I'm like, I've been following him basically since you introduced me to his music.
Yeah. We're going to talk about all that and a whole lot more and so forth because, we have a lot of time here, guys. I mean, we have a lot of time. Obviously, we don't want to spend too much time because, I don't want to spend like 5 hours on a show and bore you to death. I just want to, have it fun. I want to have a good time. Obviously, I'm bringing in a friend who is a fan of, of Davey and the band, who I would say, in the terms of baseball, I'm bringing in a ringer. So it's awesome. So it's really awesome. Wow. 11 years since Davey has popped out this, full-length album, 14 tracks. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, there are some people in life that don't even get to make a full length. And 11 years ago, he did it. He actually did the what he said he was going to go out and do, which is to make an album and to have a band and to really do it. And that's incredible. But before all that, a lot of people have been wondering, and I'm going to give you a little skinny about the history because, for real, what I'm about to say, it's not to, make people feel bad about themselves or feel jealous. What I am saying is just spitting facts, So basically, if I'm spitting a fact, it's telling the truth. And if I'm telling the truth, then it's not supposed to hurt people. It's just to inform people about what's going on and how it is. See, years ago, way, way back in the day, when I was like knee high to a grasshopper, I actually knew Davey, and we actually grew up together, not far from the Baltimore, Maryland area. We were from that area, and we knew each other for many years, and we really connected on a lot of things. But the one thing that really connected us, believe it or not, was that we were all about gaming. We loved going to the arcade and spending our allowance money, feeding in the quarters and just playing random video games. And it was really cool. It was really fun. And just to have somebody that I could connect with in that way of just playing video games, was pretty wild. We were playing a lot of stuff. We were playing things like, Galaga and Ms. Pac-Man and let me see, X-Men, the arcade game where it had like 6 playable characters on there. We played a lot of stuff, man, like Street Fighter, Karate Champ, you name it. Back in the day, we probably played that video game and it was cool. And, years later, when I moved away over to the Washington DC area, we kind of lost touch. But then years later, as adults, I bumped into him again accidentally. We're actually shopping over at the same store over at the mall, and I bumped into him. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't recognize him, but this was like a tall dude, about like 6'2", 6'3", got dreadlocks. And I'm just like, yo, my bad, man. He was like, oh, it's all good, dude. And then next thing you know, no more than like maybe 5 seconds later, he's like, hey, aren't you the Kim Hoang that used to play video games over at this place not far from Baltimore? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And who the hell are you? Yo, it's Davey, man. I'm like, give me a hug, bro. What's up, man? It's been a while. So he told me that he was actually, doing music in the Baltimore, Maryland area. And, he invited me to one show, which I went, and I just became hooked ever since. Now, this is before Davey was actually Davey Suicide. He was just in a band that, the local people know. If you don't know, I just won't mention it because I don't think I have the rights to really give out that information. But he was in that band for years. It was really established well in the DMV. But one day, Davey said that he was going to go ahead and venture out west to LA to actually pursue the dream of music because the dream was really big within him. And he didn't want to be just the big fish in the little pond. He wanted to be the big fish in the ocean. And as one of his good friends, I felt really bad about it because from a personal standpoint, I was just thinking, I won't be able to see him as much anymore. So that's sad. But to be a really good friend and a supportive friend, I was like, dude, if that's what you got to do, go ahead and do it, man. If you're destined for something, you got to chase it. The worst thing that could happen is that it didn't work out and you could always move back. And he hasn't looked back. You know what I mean? And years later, after that, he got a band together, and here we are. Wow, I'm still even looking at this album right now, and I'm just like in shock. I can't believe it's been like 11 years. I mean, 14 tracks. We got Cross Your Heart, Generation Fuckstar, Sick Suicide, Hustler Queen, Uncross Your Legs, Unholywood, California, In My Chest is a Grave, Kids of America, One More Night, Professor Asshole. That's yeah, okay, all right, right there. Grab Your Gun and Hide Your Morals, Fallacies, Godhead Killers, I'll Take a Bullet for You. The 14 tracks that made this album famous. And during 2013, I mean, it was Davey, Draven Davidson, who at the time was playing drums. I think Brent Ashley was playing bass at the time. I think there was like transitions with like other people too. I remember Needles was there. Dude by the name of Ashes. And yeah, and that's it. That was the OG crew. I mean, wow. I mean, let's start it out. Like, Becky, how did you know about Davey? Where did you hear about Davey? What were your thoughts when you heard the first album? How did you get your hands on it?
I think you introduced me, like when you and I first became friends, you introduced me to his music, and it's when he was coming to perform in Baltimore at the Soundstage. And it's when you got the Airbnb in Ellicott City, and with all of our other friends joining us. And it was actually a really good show, and he played his music. And I think the very first song I think I heard off that first album was Kids of America and Generation Fuckstar. And I really loved the sound, the vocal range from him.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really good vocal range.
He still does.
He still does to this day. He still has a good vocal range, and I just love the sound and the lyric. Like, I really had to like listen to the lyrics, and they're good lyrics.
Right.
So we know he's a good lyricist as well. But yeah, I think those two songs that really hit me. And I told you the other day, I actually listened to all of Davey's music.
Right.
In preparation for this podcast. I was like, oh my God, this brings back some memories. And just meeting Davey for the very first time, not as a musician, but as a person.
Right.
Totally two different people.
I agree.
But so super nice, so like well down to earth. And he was just so very nice and accommodating to everything. But yeah, I just loved meeting him, and I love his music. And still to this day, I still love listening to his music, and I can't wait for more.
It's really funny because there's different sides to Davey. There's the Davey that you see that is the performer on the stage.
Mhm.
But then there's the Davey that you see after he performs on the stage. And it's
Yeah.
true to what many people say, and I'll vouch for it, that what you see from Davey is exactly who he is in real life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He doesn't play a persona.
Nope.
He's just, a real cool dude that's just down to earth and just all about hanging out, chilling out, having a fun time, talking to you, getting to know you, and just, enjoying a lot of things that other people probably enjoy, like, sports or music or art or movies or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just who he is. Or even like, tattooing, because most of my tattoos that I got are actually from Davey, because he's also a tattoo artist.
That is true. Yeah, and every time he did his tattoo tour, I was like, "Oh, I need to save up money so I can get a tattoo," but financial issues and whatnot, I could never do it. And I was like, you know what? That's on my bucket list. If he ever does another tattoo tour, I'm definitely gonna get one done. Something small, but
Right.
just to say that I've been tattooed by Davey Suicide, the artist, the tattoo artist, not just Davey Suicide, the musician.
True. One thing that I forgot to mention was one of the OG members as well, believe it or not, and I've totally dropped the ball on this, was a dude or is a dude by the name of Frankie Sill. So
Oh yeah, I remember Frankie.
yeah, I remember Frankie. Frankie was like, to me, was a real, like, I've always had a good interaction with Frankie. Frankie was a real nice guy to me. I never really had any issues with them. Draven, I loved completely. You know what
Oh
I
yeah, he
mean?
was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
every time that I would see him, I'm like, "Yo, Draven, what's up? Yo, Kimmy, what's up? Give me a hug, man. What's up?" And
yeah,
he's just,
he gave good hugs too.
he's awesome. He's really awesome. And just to, you know, when it came to this album, I thought, from a musical standpoint, that Davey broke some personal ground. You know what I mean? In the music sense, as a musician, but also as a person, because it was kind of like his coming out after so many, different, like, I guess, like, days leading up to the weeks, to the months, to the years. It used to be that he had toured, and he only had like he had an EP out. So he never had the full length at first. But that was cool because he was just starting, and he was getting, he was beginning to get his hands dirty and his feet wet,
Yeah.
with this new endeavor. And rightfully so. I mean, you're not going to, you know, you're not going to come out right to the professional league right away. You have to pay your dues first. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I'm going to say this for those that understand the sports analogy. You're not, it's very rare that, you come out of high school and then you go straight into the pros. You know what I mean? Usually what happens is you go into high school, then you go to college and play for the NCAA. And if you're good enough, then you get picked out by the professional league, whether if it's the NFL, the NBA, or anything like that. And I think that's what Davey did, and the band did, is that they just started a little bit small, and they're working their way, and they're doing a great job even to this day. It's crazy to see, how he and this album literally defined an era.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but when I talk to a lot of fans out there, a lot of Davey Suicide fans, whether if they're, local fans from, the Baltimore, Washington, DC area, or just wherever, the common subject that they say is that, with this album, they really identified with it. And they
Yes.
really identify with Davey. They identify with the message that, he's trying to put out there. And, for even a lot of people, they were saying, man, if it wasn't for Davey's music, especially, the the OG, the first one, the one that started it all. I don't know how I would navigate life or get through life. I don't think I would even be here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
And I feel like with
I'm sorry. I was going to say, have you ever heard that before?
I have actually, yes.
So
And I feel like with Davy's EPs before the first major album, I think he was like basically just like putting his toes in the water, testing the waters out, saying,
right,
"Okay, I know I can do this. I'm gonna keep going. I got good reviews. I'm just gonna go full blast right into the. I'm just gonna jump, do a whole cannonball right into it." And he
right,
did. And this album was basically his breakthrough.
right.
And he did so well.
Yep, yep. I'm actually looking at the CD right now,
Yep.
and I would say there's a good amount of songs on here that, I definitely identified with. Obviously, I liked Generation Fuckstar.
Yeah.
Six Suicide was great. Hustler Queen, I love that. On Hollywood, California, that
Yeah,
was
that was a good
good.
one.
In My Chest is a Grave, I like that. Kids of America. One More Night, I liked that. Um, let's see. Grab Your Gun and Hide Your Morals was a fun one.
Yeah,
And
that was a good one.
yeah, and I'll Take a Bullet for You.
Yeah.
I did like that. I definitely, when I first saw Davey had the video for Generation Fuckstar, and I was like, yo, like, did you ever see that?
I did. I did see that video. It was like, what am I watching?
It was like, he was dressed up like a hooded cloak,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people he was like passing the Davey Suicide logo of the Cross Your Heart like logo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, what is this? It was pretty, like, at first I didn't get it. Like, I thought, I was like, this is pretty crazy in a weird way. And
Yeah.
then I was like, yo, this is crazy, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wow, like to see, you know, everything being built, and now you get to see the actual final piece, and you get to see the whole canvas of art for the first time. It's like, now I understand why you took your time with it, because
Yep.
it was, I can only imagine that being a music band, a professional music band, it's a process, and it takes a long time to really get things going, from thought to pen to paper, to recording it, audio wise and so forth.
Mhm.
There's a lot that goes on here that, many people, fail to realize. They just think, oh, well, it's pretty easy. All I do is just, do this, and, I'm done for the day. They don't realize, how much time and effort it takes to, make an album and record it, and,
Oh yeah.
the expenses that go along with that. You know what I mean? I mean, making an album, I can pretty much imagine it's not cheap. It's a solid investment. And a lot of people think that, it might be fun and games. Well, it might be. I don't know, because I'm not in that area, but it's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard
Yeah,
work.
because you gotta think about, it's like, okay, you're making this album, you have to first put out demos to make sure they sound right. Then you go into the studio, record everything you need. Of course, it's gonna take a long time to do that.
Right.
There's always gonna be mistakes, and it might not sound right. So you gotta redo everything again. Then you gotta have someone produce it. Then you gotta remix it, and then you put it out. So it takes a good long time, and a lot of effort, and a lot of blood and sweat.
You said that you like Generation Fuckstar. That was one of your favorite singles from that album. Which one was the other one that you said that you liked?
Kids of America, which I
Kids.
and also love that movie, music video too.
What was it about Generation Fuckstar and Kids of America that said to you in your head, I'm sold?
Well, Generation Fuckstar was really the very first song that I heard from Davey Suicide when you first introduced me to the music.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I remember you telling me, hey, check this artist out before we go and see the concert. And I listened to it, and it was actually the very first song that popped up when I shuffled it. And I was like, well, this is interesting. Let me hear some more. But Generation Fuckstar, I think, just like blew my mind by the lyrics, the 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 music, the actual sounds of it. But I think it was Kids of America that really cut deep into me because of the lyrics for it. I don't know. It's just like it sends a message, and I feel like all of his songs send messages if you really listen to the lyrics. And a lot of people don't do that.
Let's see. I mean, example, we want it all. We want it now. Don't ever tell us what to do. We are the kids of America. We want it all. We don't care how. We'll never ever be like you. We are the kids of America. That's gangster.
It is. It's basically saying, okay, well, we're gonna do it no matter what. Yeah. Screw it. We're doing it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, we're kind of going against the grain for, something that we believe in. And it's just something that, we're not going to, conform to what you think, being you, the man, thinks that, that this is okay just because you say it's okay.
Yeah.
Or you think that, the old school way of life is the greatest way of life, which, is not really 100% accurate, and it's not guaranteed.
No.
But I do.
But
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I feel like when people listen to lyrics of any artist, I'll put it out there, they don't listen to the lyrics. And people do need to listen to the lyrics because sometimes there are double meanings of the
Right.
lyrics. And I think Davey did that for all of his songs.
The only thing I didn't like, about like, it's not throwing shade about the album.
Yeah.
Because I love the album. And I'm not throwing any shade at Davey because obviously, Davey's my boy, and I'm going to support him until the end of time. You can put that on record. But what pisses me off is a lot of people, that are like basically they're closed minded. They don't think outside the box, right? And they're thinking automatically that, Davey Suicide is, is like the name of it, the brand of it is all about condoning suicide, which is definitely not the case. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
No, I'm serious. Like a lot of people just say straight up that, that's just not, it's not, it's not one of those things that's an appropriate stage name because, you're doing something, and you're condoning something negative, and, suicide's serious. And, basically Davey was talking about that. It was just more about like literally about second chances, to, to, erase something from the old and bring your back something, as like the new, the reinvention. And that's something that happens a lot to a lot of people, like all the time, like a fair amount, I should say. I wouldn't say every person in the world, but a good chunk of it. And when we do that through action, that's never a bad thing. But you're going to slander somebody because of a name or a brand, and you think it's more negative connotation rather than the actual meaning of what's supposed to be, and you're not listening to the reason why he's explaining the meaning. It's like, dude, you need to go ahead and kick rocks, man, because if you're just going to keep on kicking a dog while it's down on the ground, then you have no business of being even around here. Why don't you go somewhere else and let people that actually support it, that are trying to understand it and like what he's doing, let them be there. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're
doing more harm than good.
I mean, look, I've always told Davey, like, look, for all I care, you could be Davey Loggins for all I care. You know what I mean? And that would have been cool, like, because the name, the brand doesn't define who you are.
No.
It's the person and their character that defines you as who you are. And Davey's always been, who he has been. He's never in my years of knowing him, and trust me, I've known this cat for like a lot of years. I mean, this is my dude for life, and I will go on record that I love him. I really do.
Mhm.
I mean, he is not just my friend, but he is my brother, and I love him dearly. I mean, I would, like the song says, I definitely would take a bullet for that dude. I definitely would, you know, but you know, he's been who has been, for all time,
Mhm.
and he has never had to really answer to anybody of who he was. He was just like, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. If you truly support it and you understand it, that's great because it makes it a lot easier. If you don't, that's okay too. I'll still remember it,
Yeah.
but I'll remember the people that supported me first because, obviously they were the ones that were battling with me throughout all this, you know, inner turmoil and journey and battling through what has been the ongoing struggle for years.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I loved Davey's first album, like I really did, and I think that it just, if anything, it really taught me to be very open-minded musically and to
Mhm.
just like be accepting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Music, I mean, it has different interpretations for sure, but it's still like the same language that everybody can understand.
That is true. And I feel like with Davey's very first album, he's basically still, I feel like he's still testing the waters. Be like, okay, this is my full length album. I know I can do it. Let's put it out there. And he got good reviews on it, and it became a good success. And look how far he's become in the last 11 years.
Yeah. The one thing that tripped me out was, I don't know if you remember it, but
Yeah.
there was a time, unfortunately, um, that there was like a legal issue, like a lawsuit.
I
And
remember that. Yes.
yeah, like, he was battling for the rights of his self-titled album and his worldwide suicide album.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what happened. All I know is that he was with a record company and they were trying to, basically, sabotage the band and saying, no, we own the rights to that and everything. And, Davey being, a very observant person and, and very diligent, he kept receipts, as they say in the business. Keep those
Yeah.
receipts, keep the evidence. And yeah, I mean, he had to, face the legal matter. I don't really know the specific ramifications of what
I
happened.
I remember 'cause, so what happened was he accused the label, which was Standby Records, and the owner for continuous years of fraudulent activity.
Hmm.
That's what happened.
Well, whatever the case may be, because I don't know,
Yeah.
it worked in Davies' favor,
It
and
did. Yes.
and
He did
and
win.
and the law and the courts, settled it where, like, you know what, you own the rights to that. You know what, now it's yours.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it, and it was good because now it's like, Davey and the band didn't have to live in fear anymore. They can own those records. They can own those albums. They can mass produce it and sell it, and they can, earn the profit and have 100% profit of everything because it's now theirs. They didn't have to split it with everybody. You know what I mean? It belongs to the band. It stays in the house.
Yep.
And I remember that, at one point, Davey put like this video, that was like, I don't know, like maybe like what, about 10 or 13 minutes long, explaining everything. And I think that's when, it started to turn the tide.
Yep.
Do you remember seeing that video?
I think I do. Yeah, I think he posted it either on the Facebook or the Instagram account.
I
But
think it was Facebook, I think.
yeah, and just basically kind of like saying what happened and how everything that went good in his favor, and I mean it was good for him that he won.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And now, years later, if it wasn't for this album, we wouldn't have the other albums,
no,
such as Worldwide Suicide. We wouldn't have Made from Fire. We wouldn't even have, what is it? Rock Ain't Dead.
no,
He's had a couple of new singles since then, but since the Rock Ain't Dead album, we haven't heard anything in quite a while from him in terms of like at least musically, let
no,
alone
we haven't. But I mean, remember though, it's been 4 years when he did have a kid, so he's been probably a little busy.
well, okay, life took a little bit, because yes, our boy became a father. Congratulations, you know what I mean? Little Atticus Rain at a year and a half old, you know what I mean?
COVID happened. Don't forget COVID happened.
COVID happened, and then afterwards, it was good, you
Yeah.
know. And they did start touring again. I remember that because I caught them when they were here in the Baltimore area, and that was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a chance to interview now bassist Derek Obscura twice. Shout out to Derek, love you, man. And Martin Vadesh, the drummer, and yeah, and then just seeing them twice. Once at I believe it was Fishhead Cantina, and I think the other one, I think it was over at Angels Rock.
Was it that or was it Ram's Head?
No, it wasn't Ram's Head. I'm talking about the last two times that I saw them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I tried to go to the Fish Head Cantina one, but I couldn't due to work. And the other one was also work again.
Yep. I do remember that. You missed out on a lot of good concerts, man.
I have, and I mean, being in the medical field, being a nurse, I mean, that takes up majority of my life, dude. But I am gonna make a commitment that now that I have a really good job and a manager who is very willing on letting me have some time off, especially because I now can accrue um a lot of PTO and they don't expire. They just roll over onto the next year, which is really nice. So I can save up as much PTO as I can and then be like, oh, okay, Davey's gonna be in town. I'll go ahead and take the next day off. That way I can just go to work. I'll come home, change, and just go to wherever he's playing. Enjoy the show.
What do you think is the difference when you actually had heard Davey on, let's say his album versus actually experiencing Davey live in concert?
Totally 100% different because the very first time I saw Davey was the Baltimore show 10 years ago.
Yeah, at Soundstage.
Yeah, at Soundstage. And it was like, it's just a totally different person. Like they said, I mean, good, yeah, they sound alike, but it's like, it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different vibe. But seeing him perform was mind blowing. Like they put on a good show. And they definitely interact with the fans, which I think is an important factor.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that. I think it's like it's the same energy, but it's presented more differently. And
Yes.
obviously when you're at the show live in concert, they interact with you, obviously, because they
Yes.
want to create that connection with you,
And
and
I
I
think that all bands should do that. They want that interaction with the fans. That way you get a good following.
right, right, I get that, I get that. I mean, the only thing I can honestly say is that when you actually go to a Davey Suicide show, like honestly and truly, you're going to be in for a treat. You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty much everything that you probably would expect, but the expectations are going to be blown 25 times more, way more than you expected.
Definitely. I agree.
You know, um, I'll say this every time that I go to a Davey show, um, I never get disappointed. I never get disappointed. I always feel like, Davey is definitely playing the role of being a showman, and he's really giving, everything that he has, as well as the rest of the band. They're giving everything of themselves, you know, into their performance.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that really connect with that. They really, really do. And, you know, for those that have never seen Davey Suicide live, I can only say this: you're only cheating yourself. I mean, to hear him through, the albums, or, in this case, in the technology that we are today, streaming it on Spotify or Apple Music or anything of that sort, or even like, hearing their music on YouTube or whatever. I mean, that's cool. It's cool. But honestly, I don't think you'll get the real experience unless you go over and to see them live, and to have that experience and to be there in person and to hang out with them after the fact, and to do all of that. And even like just as a simple action of like buying merch at the merch table just to support, what they do, you'll never get the true experience until you really go out there live. Now these days people they think, oh, hearing the music enough is fine, or
Course
somebody
not.
or somebody recorded it and they put it on YouTube as film footage, which is, that's only partially the experience. You're not in there person to person. And I think unless you be there in person and seeing it with your own two human eyes, you're missing out, man. You're missing out.
And I'm gonna add my 2 cents to that. Be like, if you listen to them on any streaming platform and then compare it to when you actually go to a show, it's gonna be a totally different experience. Like, it's definitely different. And you can say that for any artist, any musician you want to go and see concert wise and listen to them on any streaming platform. Yeah, it's gonna be totally different.
Yeah, I have to agree with you 100%. And for Davey to be doing this, um, he created the band in like 2000, like 10, I think, or something like that. And
Sounds about right, yeah.
yeah, and because he did this album back in 2013, and now we're in 2024, 11 years, that's crazy.
I know.
I think I also remember recently that it's been 7 years, I think, if the mathematics are correct, that they did the Made from Fire album. And
Um,
that's crazy. That album, I always say that every album that Davey does, like the next album, blew away the previous album. At
yeah,
least
you're
that,
right. It's been 7 years since Made with Fire came out.
yeah, yeah. So for me, it's like every album that Davey's done has a place in my heart because I always feel connected to it. You know what I mean? And I always feel connected in the way that, you know, there's going to be at least one song that I can identify with in that album, and it'll stick with me forever. And this is my rule of thumb, if I buy an album and there's just not one song that I can't connect with in that whole album, then there's something wrong. Davey does not fail in that resort, because every album that he's put out there, I could name at least maybe 3 or 4 songs in that album that I could say, yep, that's the one.
Yep.
That's the
I agree.
one.
And I definitely agree with the one part you said about if you can't find one single song on an album that you like, then don't bother continue listening to that artist.
Right.
There's no point in it. I mean, I can at least, for me, my top 2 are Generation Fuckstar and Kids of America, but I can still listen to the whole entire album. No problem.
I will say this that really shocks me.
What?
And what I mean by shock is like in a good way shock, not like a bad way. And I still don't get it. And I guess I downplay it a lot, but it's a known fact that on every album that Davey's ever done, I'm in the thank yous.
Really?
Yeah. I was in the thank yous for the self-titled, for Worldwide Suicide, for Made from Fire, and the most recent one, Rock Ain't Dead.
Huh. That is so neat.
Yeah. And and a lot of people, I try to downplay because, I'm just grateful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really am. And a lot of people just say, dude, that's a real huge thing. And I just try to be humble about it. I'm just a guy that, supports a band and try to do everything I can. Yeah. And I try to support the band. I try to support Davey. We've had a history for years. We've been friends for a long time. And, I just want to see that dude succeed, man. And I want to try to help him out in any which way I can. Like example, some people have done this. And I know I'm definitely one of them. Whenever they're in town, whether they're playing in DC or Northern Virginia or Baltimore, I always try to invite them over to, come stay with me, because I'm doing like an Airbnb, near the venue, and I just don't want them to be spending so much expense being on the road and having to like rent, hotel rooms and stuff like that, which costs a pretty penny, or even worse, sleeping in the van. That sucks,
Yeah.
I'd rather you just come with me, stay with me. That you guys have a bed to sleep on. I'll sleep on the couch, you know what I mean? Or I'll do this. I don't care. I just want you guys to stay with me, be safe, have a nice bed to sleep on. I'll cook dinner, which 9 times out of 10, I mean, well, really, according to Derek Obscura, it's 10 out of 10. He's like, let me give you a Derek Obscura, imitation here. This is my comedy at best. Hey, yo, Kimbo. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, that stuff that you made, that's hot, baby. That's hot. I'm like, damn, dude. This is better than
a compliment from him. I mean, that's like, okay, yeah, you're cooking for them, and he's like, oh my god, this is good food.
It's like, man, it's better than that canned Chef Boyardee shit I eat on the road every day. I'm like, damn. Chef Boyardee, god damn. I stopped eating that crap after after 5th grade, because my taste buds kind of grew up since then. I was like, Chef Boyardee, fuck that. I want to go to TGI Fridays.
God, I can't remember the last time I had Chef Boyardee.
Oh God, no, you don't want it. Like, I never got bands that were living on Chef Boyardee or spaghettios or all that crap. I'm like, nah, man, I can't do that. I gotta have a real meal. You know what I mean? And again, when you stay at the Hotel de Asian Sensation, you're going to get a good meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different now cooking for Davey because he's a vegan. So I have to keep that in mind that like, okay, he was about, the regular eating life. Now he's adopted something different. I have to respect that. And,
Oh yeah, of course.
and so far I've passed the test. I passed the
Oh,
test.
good.
I make sure that, I don't fuck up in that area. So,
There
but
you go.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but now, the main question of it all now is like, what's in the future for Davey Suicide, and what can we expect, and what's going to happen? When's the next album coming? When is the next tour? And you know what? Get a lot of questions about that all the time because they always feel like, it's like I have the inside track. You know what I mean? I got this, I got that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And ladies and gentlemen, I don't got the inside track. I don't got the juice like that. I don't got it like that. I will say that the one thing's for sure is nothing is, for sure.
Yeah.
But if I know Davey like I think that I do, if you asked me for my theory, I think my theory is probably within a year or two, we might have an answer that we're looking for. I just want to say that's my unofficial guess. I don't know if that's for real or not.
Mhm.
So don't quote me on that. But I'm going to say if you ask me to give you a theoretical answer, there you go. I think we probably might see something in a year or two, whether it would be in the form of a new album, a new tour. We don't know. We just don't know. A lot of those factors are hard, of coming up with again with a new album and putting that together. Once you have the album out, then it's kind of common law that you go out and tour and you really do a tour, to promote the album and to promote, you as a band and so forth.
Yep.
So that's where I think that is going. I'm not 100% sure if that will be the case, but that's all I have to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say.
And I'm sure I'm sure he's been writing some new music to get ready for a new album, because it has been 4 years since the last album's been put out. So I'm sure he's doing something. I'm sure, but also like he's got his own personal stuff going on. He's got the baby. So I'm sure he's probably waiting for Atticus to be a little bit older, and then he'll do the tour. So would it be new album, then tour, and then probably come back and do like another tattoo tour? We don't know. But we're like basically in limbo right now with what's going on new wise with him.
That's a very good theory, and I'll just say this. The possibility of your theory, there it can't be 100% wrong.
No.
So in that sense, I feel like, okay, your guess is as good as mine. My guess is as good as everybody else's. We don't know.
No.
We don't know. But we're hoping, whatever the case may be, that the music will be coming and the tour will be coming.
Yep. Hopefully soon.
Yeah,
hopefully
soon. Yeah. Well, I mean, the word on the street is that, he has been doing something. I don't know if that's 100% true.
Yeah.
But the word on the street is that he is doing something musically, and he is compiling some stuff and trying to make some stuff happen. Now, again, whether or not if that's 100% true, I do not know. I'm only going by speculation and theory. The only way that we know for sure is that if the man himself actually says something about that. And to be honest with you, if I can you know, say something in addition. Davey, if you're listening to this, you know, and I probably will say it again before this episode is over, I do hope that I get to interview your ass. I really do. I've been saying it. I've been trying to petition it. I know that we're boys and you know, and we're friends and everything, but you know, I would like to have an opportunity, man. Like I really, really would. You know, hook a brother up, man. Hook a Asian brother up. You know, I really would appreciate it. You know, the Asian community and the community of the fans of the Davey Suicide World would thank you if you just gave me a shot. You know, I want to have this opportunity. I want to take that ball and shoot it from the paint and hit it from downtown with a 3-pointer. You know, put me in the put me in the field, you know, put me in the game, coach. I'm ready to play.
Oh my god. Now, if Davey actually did do that, dude, that would be so fucking amazing. It'd be like,
It,
whoa.
you know, I feel like I've already interviewed Derek Obscura twice,
You have, yeah.
we've had a blast. I've already interviewed Martin Vadesh already, the drummer, one time.
Yep.
That was cool. I never got a chance to interview Nico Gemini. That would be pretty cool.
That would be, yeah.
I mean, you know, because he's got a hell of a story to tell, you know, being that he's from Moscow, Russia, and now he is a citizen of the United States of America.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. He's done really well. He definitely is the embodiment of like living the American dream from an international standpoint.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah. And he's doing it, man. He's doing it. But to say that if I actually got a chance to interview Davey himself, to have a one-on-one, to have that opportunity in that moment, I mean, Jesus, man, you know, I would love that opportunity. I would definitely kill for that opportunity. I literally would. I'm just like, you know, what people from Mortal Kombat do I have to kill to go ahead and get in with this interview and get this thing started? You know what I mean?
Oh God, so many people.
Pretty much. I mean, you know, that's a lot of people in the outworld that I have to kill just to get to Davey.
Yup.
If Davey was here right now, honestly, like if Davey was here in person, or if Davey actually had a chance to actually listen to this, what would you say to Davey right now if you could?
That's a very loaded question. I mean, I would always just say, first of all, thank you for doing what you're doing, putting out such amazing music. Keep doing what you're doing. I support you 100% and will continue supporting you no matter what. And even when I move, I will still continue supporting you. And I please hope to God that when I move and you're touring again, please come to Fargo and I will see you in Fargo.
Oh God.
Or Minneapolis. Minneapolis is only a 4-hour drive, so I will drive 4 hours just to see you in Minneapolis. And just continue supporting you and just continue what you're doing. I cannot wait for more future content, more music. And I can't wait to see how Atticus is doing. That's what I would say to him.
I would just say once you actually move away, you know, the chances of you actually seeing him live in concert will, you know, exponentially decrease.
It all depends, but like I said, like if he comes out and tours the Midwest, I mean, if he tours anywhere in North Dakota or even Minnesota, because I'm not far, I'm like literally next door to Minnesota, I will go out and I will go and see him. I will try to make it. Just like I hope to God, like I know if he tours again, hopefully soon, before I move, I would love to come and see him again, and especially for his tattoo tour as well.
Right.
So hopefully he does it before I move, but if not, I'll wait till I move.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Oh my goodness. I would say this from my perspective. If
Okay.
Davey was here right now, first off, the emotions would really be kicking in because, again, I'm not only just looking at him as Davey Suicide, the artist, but I'm looking at him as Davey the person, my friend and my brother of many years. You know what I mean? I would just say, dude, you know, we've been friends for a long time. And you really, really were open minded to me as being your friend because, I'm not like every other person out there in the world. I am a unique individual. And the fact that you are very open to my uniqueness and the fact that, you embraced it for so many years and you get to know me as like Kim the person and you give me so much love and respect. There's not enough words that I can tell you how much that, I appreciate that and how much that I love you as a person. Because, I've always said that you've been one of my best friends in life, and I will continue to say that to this day. Um, every time that I go and see your show, it's not only to support you, but it's also because it's like he doesn't cut to come around to the East Coast as often. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like my one chance and opportunity to kind of, see him and to, to still keep that connection alive, and
Mhm.
I'm just very proud of you for all the stuff that you've done since the first album till what you're doing now with currently with Rock Ain't Dead and hopefully a new album that will be coming very soon in the future. You know what I mean? So I hope, you know, from the bottom of my heart, much continued success and love towards you, man. Everything that you've done, all the success that you've earned, is well deserved. Um, you have a great group of guys that are working with you to make this dream a reality. Currently, right now, with Derek Obscura and Martin Vadesh and Nico Gemini. I mean, that's like the ultimate dream team in my opinion because Nico can shred on that guitar very well. I mean, that brother's talented. Martin, his abilities to drum is, second to none. It's incredible. And the fact that he's actually played with such bands like Orgy, like damn, like actually being their drummer, damn. Derek, he's awesome, and he's great with the bass and he's got great musical theory and knowledge too. It's the perfect package. Um,
Yeah.
I love each and every one of them. Every one of them's got a place in my heart. They're my brothers and my family for life. And I will continue to support them all the way. No questions asked.
Yeah. I mean, everything that he does is he's doing it on his own, but he
Yep.
has the support of his family, his friends, and all the fans. And like, we will always support Davey, no matter what,
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
with
And
his tattooing and with his music.
oh well, I got something of his, in terms of tattoos that will be the memories of a lifetime. So
Oh yeah.
you already know what it is. So
Mhm. I
so
still remember the time when he was doing his tattoo tour and you gave me a card to sign for him because you bought tattoo guns for him.
yes, I the tattoo machines. Yes,
You bought
yes.
you bought the machines for him, and I remember the video you posted of his reaction to it. He was stunned. Like he was not expecting that.
Okay, I'll give everybody a quick story on that because again, I don't want to make this about me. I just want to make it about Davey and the man. Um a few years back, um I don't know how it happened. I really don't. But somehow Davey was tattooing and he lost his machine. he lost his machine. I was like, dude, how in the world did you lose that tattoo machine? Matter of fact, I remember getting you that machine because, I wanted you to actually, upgrade your tattooing equipment and get it to the next level. And that machine that cost a pretty penny. I'm not going to say how much it was, but it cost a pretty penny. A tattoo machine's not cheap, and especially
No.
the one that he's working with. Well, anyways, I felt bad, and I decided to do a GoFundMe page because I wanted to raise enough money in the funds for everybody to, let's get him a new machine. You know what I mean? Let's get a new machine for him, the same one that he had before, because I really wanted him to actually, still maintain his tattooing and with the equipment that he was very quick to know and to be that he was used to, you know what I mean? I didn't want him to be adapting to something else. I want him to actually work with the same equipment that he had that brought him success. So I made the GoFundMe page, and there was a lot of people that were generous that like donated out of the yin yang. At the end of it, I was able to raise money to not only get a new machine, but I also got him some tattoo needles for that machine and a special ink kit. What that actually came in like a carrying case. And I was like, wow. And the fact that, Davey was shocked, he didn't expect it to happen.
No.
And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Just the look on his face. You could tell that he appreciated it, and I think it worked out because, the people who donated. They gave their time and their resources and their effort to actually donate to the cause. And I'm not going to say who donated specifically because I feel like it's unfair, and I feel like, oh, you're just saying their names because you're, holding them above us. No, people who donated was the people who donated. I will say that I did donate. I did, to be fair, I did because I started it. I felt like I had to do something, and I did donate. And boom, there it is. And again, that is something that I will always bend my back for Davey because that's how much I believe in him. That's how much I value his friendship, and that's how much how much I think of him overall.
Yeah.
So yes.
When I watched that video, I was like, oh my God, like I could see he was very shocked, but very humbled and very gracious for what you did and what all the people who did donate did for him and his time. Basically, his time of need because he lost his machine guns.
Right. Right.
So, but I don't think he was expecting that, but he was like I said, he was very humbled and very gracious for what we did.
No, for sure. For sure. And and I think that's one of those things that I think, Davey as a person, he will never forget those type of things. You know what I mean? So um I think it's going to be awesome to know that that's like a memory instilled forever, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, that's for certain. That's for certain.
Yeah.
Real quick, we are running a little bit out of time. We're running a little bit out of time, and it's kind of weird that that it's come to this, but I just want to give some quick announcements real quick because obviously there's some stuff that's going on over here. So I just want everybody to kind of be you know in the loop and in the know. You know what I mean? Like for example, um if you want to go ahead and get some Davy Suicide merch, you can go to his website, which is DavySuicideMerch.com. He also has a clothing line called Killers Never Die. And that is really an amazing, shirt line, clothing line in itself. Go to basically Killers Never Die. If I'm reading this right, let me see if I'm Killers Never Die .bigcartel.com. I'll make sure that I'll put the links on the show description. Also, with Killers Never Die, they're actually going to be going on the road. So far, according to their Instagram, that they're going to be making appearances first at the Oklahoma City Horror Con from July the 27th through the 28th. The Houston Horror Film Fest from August 9th to the 11th. Let's see. There's this one event called Terror Trader over in Arizona. Now, I'm not sure exactly where in Arizona. I'm only assuming Phoenix. That's going to be from August 24th until the 25th. And then Creep It Real OC. So I'm guessing that's probably somewhere in the OC area of California. That is going to be happening on September the 14th until the 15th. So, if you want to catch Davey, he'll be over at those events. If you want to buy some of his merch, once again, just go over to his merch website, DavySuicideMerch.com. Again, I'm going to leave a lot of information on the show notes so that you guys don't miss out on all that good stuff. Davey Suicide does have social media. His two main ones are on Instagram and on X, formerly known as Twitter. Follow him at Davey Suicide, all in one word. And that's it, that's it on my man, congratulations. 11 years, man. Holy crap. Can I say it with a straight face? 11 flipping years.
That's crazy.
11 years and 4 albums later. Yeah. Soon to be coming up with the 5th one. So yeah, I think that does it. That about wraps it up. Becky, do you have anything else to add before we close the show, or any final thoughts?
No, but thank you for letting me join and co-host with you, and just putting my 2 cents in about Davey and the first album. I can't wait for more. I hope to see him soon, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Just 2 people talking about Davey, respecting his work, giving recognition to 11 years since the very first full-length album, and just giving respect and proper homage, if you will, to the man and to the band, and how much it has meant to us, how it's meant to the public, and so forth. And as a fan, like I said before, we just can't wait for whatever it is that's happening with Davey. We can't wait for a possible new album, a tour to follow up with that. I mean, whatever it is, we're going to be on our edge of our seat, and it's going to be a hell of a ride. So we better buckle up and strap onto the seat, because, we don't know what loops, what dips, what turns, or whatever is going on. All we know is that, it's going to be happening, and whatever the case may be, it's going to be quite the journey, and you don't want to miss out. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I appreciate it. Real quick, you can find me on Facebook. Just go under the search box, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Just type that. You'll find me there. Follow it. It'll be good. I am also on Instagram and on Twitter at TKHPC Experience, all in one word, no spacing. Now, if you're saying Twitter, what's a Twitter? It's the thing that you tweet on, now known as X. For those that don't remember what the old name is, Twitter is X. So there you go. We are on the following podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are on Google Podcasts. We are on Amazon Music, and now we are on YouTube Music. Now, do me a favor. Please like and subscribe to my podcast, please, on all the podcasting platforms. Now, if you have Spotify, please give me a 5-star ranking. If you have Apple Podcast, give me a 5-star ranking and a positive written review, because the more times that you do that for those type of podcasting platforms, then they will take my podcast straight to the top and in the front for the people to see, and people will go like, oh, that's that podcast that Becky was talking about. Yes, like it, subscribe to it. Matter of fact, go ahead and share it on all of your social medias like Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Or do it the old fashioned way. Hey, I'm going to see this person. I'm going to tell them about this podcast and tell them, go ahead and subscribe to it. Yes, do that. Please do that. Please, with sugar on top. I appreciate it. Last but not least, if you want to be a special guest, a guest host, if you have a question for our Q&A forum, which unfortunately we don't have time for a Q&A forum today, but we normally do. If you have a question for a Q&A forum, and or if you have any constructive criticism, telling me, you like the stuff or you don't like the stuff, or you think that this needs this or that needs that, email me. The Kim Hoang podcast experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, put the subject on, and then whatever you want to explain in the email, write it in the body, send it out, email it to me. I will read it and get back with you within 24 hours because I do like email correspondence. You know what I mean? So it's been great. It's been real. I definitely appreciate it, guys. Please be safe out there because it doesn't do me any good if you do something wrong to yourself and you mess up and you land in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under, which we don't want you to do. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy. We want you to be living your life. We want you to just do the right things in life so that you can enjoy it because you deserve it. If anybody tells you that you don't deserve the great things in life and the finest things in life, number one, they're lying to you. And number two, they're full of crap, to be, PG about it. But that's all the time that we got. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for supporting me, for loving me, for listening to me, for this long. Again, to my boy, Davey Suicide, bro, I love you. Congratulations on 11 years of the self-titled album. Definitely a classic and definitely worth the effort and the ride. And, again, more things to come from you, my man. And if you ever have a chance, again, I'm throwing it out there. I would love to interview you. Please give your brother a shot, man. That's all I'm asking. That is all I'm asking. I want a shot and an opportunity. I don't ask for much. I really don't. I give, and I give a lot. I'm just asking for this one request and this one opportunity. You know what I mean? But that's all I got, guys. It's been real. Coming at you from the Asian Sensation Studios in the greater Washington, DC Metropolitan Area. For my co-host of the evening for this episode, Becky Bystrak. This is your boy, the Asian Sensation, Kim Hoang, saying arigato. Thank you very much. We will do this again. And, bless you all. Be safe, be well, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I'm out.